This is a presentation of BSRN, Box Studios Radio Network. The Power Play Post Show is on the air, covering minor league hockey since 2003, and now covering the Binghamton Black Bears with news, reactions, and in-depth interviews only heard here. And now from the Box Studios in Kirkwood, New York, here is your host of the Power Play Post Show, Bob Howard.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Power Play Post Show. This is the show for October 31st, 2024. Happy Halloween, everybody. This is season 14, episode number 16, and episode number 455 in the long-running podcast that is the Power Play Post Show. Again, hello, everyone. I am Bob Howard, and I am your host of the Power Play Post Show. And welcome. And if you're listening to this Wednesday evening, or even on Halloween, or even on Friday before the games this weekend, I hope you guys all had a very spooky and fun-filled Halloween, whether you did trunk-or-treating last weekend or you're going to parties this upcoming weekend as well. I hope everybody stays safe and is safe and has a good time here during the Halloween season, which then leads us into, obviously, the Thanksgiving season, which is really just Christmas extended. At least in my household, we are already decorating for Christmas, even though Halloween hasn't even completed yet. But that's another story for another time. Hey, listen, I want to throw this out there before we get into the normal stuff, that Marc-Andre Fleury is making kind of his tour of retirement, so to speak. And I just wanted to mention, because I know he was in Pittsburgh just a couple days ago and saying his goodbyes. I know I saw an image of Chris Letang and Sidney Crosby, who waited until Marc-Andre Fleury went off the ice to go off the ice as well, so they could say their goodbyes or congratulations or happy retirement or whatever they said to him. And I just wanted to bring up a little bit of a moment, go back in history just a little bit. When Marc-Andre Fleury actually played in the American Hockey League, he played down here with the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. And he wore nothing but these yellow pads, and it was yellow top to bottom, and we used to call him the human highlighter. And I just thought that was a pretty neat little thing that I would put out there. It was all in good fun. Marc-Andre Fleury is one of the best guys in all of hockey. And congratulations to a phenomenal career, and I hope he has a good season this year, even though probably never in my time have I ever really rooted for him to win a game, because he was either playing with the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins or he was playing with the Pittsburgh Penguins until later on in his career, where he started playing out west and it didn't really matter to me. So that's pretty much it. Let's get right into this. The Power Play Post Show is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube Music, or YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on whichever platform you listen to your podcast, and please subscribe. Please join the Power Play Post Show Facebook group. Just go to Facebook and search Power Play Post Show and share that with any of your friends. Check out BinghamtonHockey.net for all your Binghamton hockey information and curiosity. And unfortunately, it's trick-or-treat time, right? So I guess in this case, there is no treat for you guys on this episode of the Power Play Post Show. The trick is it'll be just me, no guests this week here on the Power Play Post Show, and no 6 more questions on Sunday's podcast as well. So you guys just get me. And that's it. And hopefully I can make it through without coughing up a lung, as I have been doing, obviously, for the past week and a half. All right. So again, happy Halloween to everybody. Now, this upcoming weekend, the Binghamton Black Bears do play 2 more games, one on the road again and one at home on Saturday night, like they have done since the start of the season. The Black Bears will play their 3rd game against the Hudson Valley Venom on Friday evening in Newburgh, New York. This is the 3rd meeting against the Venom and the 2nd game played in Newburgh. The Black Bears have won 2 straight against the Venom in the 2nd weekend of the season. They beat the Venom in a 15-goal affair on 10-18, 9-6. The highlight of that game being that Austin Thompson scored a hat trick and had a 5-point night. Then on the next night, Connor McAnanima was the star, stopping all 23 shots he faced in a 5-0 win where the Black Bears saw 5 different goal scorers, with Thompson scoring again, Tyson Kirkby, Caden Henry, Blake Tosto, and Kyle Steffen getting goals. The Venom are 7th in the Empire Division with a record of 1-3 with 3 points. They got their only win against Port Huron, the Port Huron Prowlers last weekend on the 25th in a 4-3 win. They are led by David Guilleta, who has 1 goal, 5 assists, and 6 points, and Dustin Jusso, who has 3 goals, 3 assists, and 6 points. He's already been suspended a game this season. John Morarity is 1-2 on the young season and has a 5.67 goals against average and an .868 save percentage. Quinn Cheevers was suspended by the league for 2 games and will miss Friday's contest against the Black Bears, as Friday's game will be game 2 of the suspension. Now, the questions are, will Jacob Stahl be in the lineup for the Venom as the Blue Ridge Bobcats traded Stahl to the Venom for future considerations? Stahl played 4 games in Blue Ridge. He is a defenseman and has not registered a point, but did register for penalty minutes. Notable for the Black Bears in this game, Scott Ramakers came off the 15-day IR and should be eligible for the game. Dan Stone was moved to the 15-day IR. In his return, he suffered what appeared to be a lower body injury, potentially a leg injury of some sort. So that was kind of to be expected that he was going to go on the IR. Questions for this game: will it be more like the 15-goal matchup or the 5-0 shutout? So my question is, what really happens in this game? Do we see the game that we saw earlier in the season, or the first game of the season where it was 15 goals, 9-6 affair, or do we see the 5-0 shutout or something similar to that again? The two teams played a little bit differently in both games. Will we still see the grit and the feistiness of the 2 previous games had? They both had some grit and feistiness, but they definitely played differently, okay? Who will slot in as the Black Bears' 6th defenseman? Will it be Emerson Emery again, or will Oliveri be there with the team? Okay, so that leads us next to the Black Bears will then host Danbury, the Danbury Hat Tricks on Saturday night at home. This will be the second meeting between the Black Bears and the Hat Tricks in 11 planned contests this season. In their first meeting of the season in Danbury last Friday, the Black Bears skated off the ice with a 3-2 overtime win, with Cameron Clark scoring the power play overtime game-winning goal at the 3:03 mark into OT. Jamie Bussell scored his first goal of the season in that game, and Gavin Yates scored in the game as well to tie it up in the third period, forcing overtime. Gavin Yates scores a lot of the clutch goals. The goals that when you need a goal, a lot of times Gavin Yates is the one that scores those goals. Okay, so that's interesting. In this game, all goals were scored through the special teams, as Binghamton scored all their goals on the power play, and Danbury scored a power play goal, Harwell's goal, and a shorthanded goal, which was scored by Corey Anderson for the 2 goals in the game. The Hat Tricks are 2-1-1 on the season and sit 3rd in the Empire Division with 7 points. No surprise there. They won their last game last Saturday, 9-3 over the Venom in Hudson Valley. The Hat Tricks are led by Jacob Ratcliffe this year, who has 1 goal and 7 assists for 8 points. Former Black Bear Alexander Gamatsov and second-year hat trick Chase Harwell have 3 goals apiece in the season to lead the Hat Tricks in that category. Connor McCollum is 1-1 on the young season and a very respectable 2.97 goals against average and a .916 save percentage. And I think those numbers will probably even improve the way Connor plays. Going into this weekend, the Black Bears netminders have contrasting numbers. Well, it is what it is. Connor McAnanima is 3-1 on the season with a 1.98 goals against average and a 936 save percentage. Nolan Egbert is 2-0. He's won both of his games, but has a 4.93 goals against average and a 796 save percentage. However, those numbers reflects the two of the more high-scoring affairs in the season so far. Now, and also, I will have to say, those weren't the best played defensive games in front of Nolan Egbert as well. Just to throw a little defense for Eggy there. The Black Bears' Tyson Kirkby has 3 goals on the season and 10 assists for 13 points. He leads all Black Bears with 13 points. Austin Thompson has 6 goals on the season, leading all Black Bears, and has scored 3 out of the last 4 games. Now, Mr. Consistent, or I should say Mr. Consistence, because there's 2 of them, Kyle Steffen and Gavin Yates, both have 4 goals and assists on the season for 8 points each. On Wednesday, the Venom announced the departure of Josh Newberg and announced MJ Merkel as new head coach of the team. So this is a part of the press release. The Hudson Valley Venom of the FPHL named MJ Merkel as their new head coach on Wednesday. He replaces Josh Newberg. This decision was not made lightly, as we appreciate the hard work and the dedication Josh Newberg has put into our inaugural season. However, we believe that a fresh direction is necessary to help the Hudson Valley Venom reach its full potential on and off the ice, Venom owner and president Pat Manning said. We're committed to giving our players and fans a winning experience they deserve and have named MJ Merkel as our new head coach. We thank Josh Newberg for his contributions and wish him success in future endeavors. Now, the thing that kind of scares me about a team that does this so early in the season, you're a brand new team, and I think there was a lot of poor direction with this team. I'll be honest with you. When you take a look at the Venom, you had your head coach out there playing and fighting against, rookies that are barely even gotten their skates sharpened and on the ice. And that you had the assistant coach on the bench kind of working the bench. To me, it just doesn't work. And I've said this before on the show, and I'll say it again. I don't think head coaches should be playing hockey. I think they should be coaching. They should concentrate all of their – and I will say this about Matt Graham, too, out there in Port Huron. And so I'm not throwing Josh Newberg under the bus. This is something I truly believe. I believe in all of minor pro hockey, all the way up from the FPHL to the AHL. Head coaches should coach, and players should play. If Josh Newberg still can play, he should play and just go and play, right? And if you need somebody to be a head coach, you should hire them as a head coach, and they should take off their jersey and put on a tie. It's that simple. And I think maybe the Venom, maybe they see that, they recognize that, and they said, hey, MJ, why don't we make you just the head coach? And I guess they're going to move away from Josh Newberg. Maybe they didn't like the direction, the practices, maybe they didn't like the way the game was put together, and they want to see something different. And that's what they have done. It just, to me, is just probably putting a Band-Aid on something that's gushing. Listen, I hope for a team to be successful in between us and Danbury. It only makes sense, right? The team couldn't be successful in Elmira. Can it be successful in Hudson Valley? These are challenges and adversities that they need to overcome. If they don't overcome these, we'll see a new team somewhere else trying to make it work, if they can, somewhere else. And that's unfortunate because you're kind of dragging fans around, and it's not fair to the fans. It's not fair to the fans in Elmira, Hudson Valley, wherever you may go next. And I'm just saying that this is kind of like, unfortunately, the way it is. They're averaging 394 fans in 3 games. I'm sorry, guys. It's just not good news. And it's too bad, too, because, trust me, Andreas Johansson wants them to succeed. Pat Manning wants them to succeed. The ownership group in Danbury would like to see them succeed, and so would Watertown. Because if we lose that team and they can't find another city to put in Northeast, you got 3 teams on an island. And that kind of feels like what the Midwest teams have been like for the longest time as well. And I'm sorry, close is not 7 hours or 8 hours. It just isn't. It's just not good. So I hope the FPHL and everybody kind of figures this one out. I'm pretty sure that they were hoping that they would be getting closer to 1,000 fans and not 300 or 400 fans, unfortunately, in a night. And some of the pictures that have come out from that arena haven't looked all that great. I'm just going to say that. And you can obviously see it sometimes also on the feed. So that's pretty much it for this week. We got, obviously, the 2 games coming up this upcoming weekend. Obviously, the first game down in Hudson Valley. And then, of course, the second game at home where they'll be playing in the new Forest Ranger jerseys. So that's kind of interesting. They look nice in the pictures. We'll see how they look on the ice. I will be at the game on Saturday night, and I will take pictures and give the best coverage I can. So this upcoming weekend is, of course, the Hudson Valley Venom in Hudson Valley in Newburgh on Friday night. And, of course, on Saturday, we will see the Danbury Hat come to our barn for the first time this season. All right, so let's get to it. And the Power Play Post Show is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on whichever platform you listen to your podcast, and please subscribe. Please join the Power Play Post Show Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, search for Power Play Post Show, and please join. Check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your Binghamton hockey information and curiosity. Thank you to Rob Lapolis, our MC, John Petitucci, our music director. And I'll talk to you guys, obviously, next time on Sunday as we kind of recap everything that happened on Friday and Saturday on the weekend wrap-up show right here on the Power Play Post Show. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'll talk to you guys next time.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Power Play Post Show. Be sure to tune in next week to the Box Studios Radio Network for all the latest Black Bears news and interviews from around minor league hockey. The Power Play Post Show would like to thank John Patitucci for all the music you hear on the show. You've been listening to the Power Play Post Show.